Okay, so just the other day, a new game for the MSXDEV competition came out called Delta, which I think is a really cool one I've been looking forward to. And I mostly decided to make this video not only to show people that it exists, since I know a lot of people don't really follow the MSX scene so much, but also I've seen a lot of comments online kind of really not appreciating this game, or at least not as a game, but we'll get into that. So anyway, if you're going to play this, it only needs an MSX2 and uses SCC for audio. It is a 4 meg ASCII 16 mapped ROM though, so you will need some way to play 4 meg ROMs. Of course, if you have something like, the Mega Flash ROM SCC plus SD, this will work fine. Personally though, I've actually got the ROM on the, it's just boring and black, but the ASCII 16X flash cart, mostly because I prefer to use this setup, because if I run the game on here, I'll be hearing the emulated SCC, where I prefer to use the real chip, not just because it's the real thing, but also better sound quality, and also hooked up to the enhancer, I can actually adjust the audio levels, because like most SCC games, this does use PSG for drums, and on the Turbo R especially, SCC cartridges are way too loud, you can't hear the drums at all, but thanks to the enhancer I can fix that. So, game's all ready to go, so let's just get the camera in position. Zoom in a little. Alright, I can't really get a perfect centered shot, but good enough. And alright, fancy 3D. Yeah, this is actually, because this will run on a standard MSX2, so you don't need anything faster. Polygons. Holy shit. Actually, it's an interesting game because most of the tracks are basically, this is kind of more like Rocket Coaster or Dragon's Lair, meaning it's basically like a video instead of actually real-time rendered. Anyway, this game does not actually support controllers, it only uses the keyboard. We've got 2 tracks. So first we're just gonna do a simple one. The reason I'm doing this is just to give you, a show of how it looks, but also, as I said, this game only supports the keyboard, although there's a reason for that. Got speed arrows, turbo. Yeah, for MSX, this is kind of an incredible achievement. The reaction online to this game have actually been, it looks good, but it's a crappy game, and I disagree with that. I think people are just misunderstanding how it's meant to be played. So, as you can see, if you just take your time, so all you can do is steer and hit the turbo. There is no like accelerator control, because it is basically like a video. But first, just play it this way, you'll notice my score's not great. Whatever. And we'll just do a quick tour of the second track, because it does look amazing. course, if you touch anything, you explode. The fact that someone even attempted this is quite the achievement alone. Oh, good blows. And yeah, if you play it that way, it's fairly simple. But it's not how you're meant to play this game. The volume down a little. Now, what you're supposed to do is drift. And this is why, and I think people don't quite understand this yet, but how the controls work and the reason you have to use the keyboard is basically in the direction the car is going, the turns match. So if the car is going left and you hit left, the car turns left. But if you turn the other direction, you will actually drift. And this game is all about drift timing to get high scores. So for example, if I hold right, missed it. Drifting is also the only way to pick up the turbo power-ups. Ah! Missed. Snap. There we go. Ah. Ooh, that was close. There we go. That was far from a perfect run. Not a very good one at all, but now my score is actually decent. And I will admit the controls take a little time getting used to, because as I said, essentially you've got your turning direction and then the reverse is your drift. So essentially, if you're going to drift, if it's a left turn and you want to drift, you'd hold right, and then when you're ready to drift, you then hit left or release, which takes some time to getting used to, but once you do, it's actually fairly enjoyable. Let's do the other track. So, drift, 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 drift. There we go. Ah! That was close. So. Ah. Screwed that up, but hold that too long. There we go. So, I will admit, it gets a little confusing because you're hitting the opposite direction. screwed that one up. Even though I failed, I still actually got second place in the score ranking. Just by actually trying to play the game properly. Come on. Oop. And yeah, I screwed that up. There we go. I did the same thing again. There. Going to the wall. Hey, I think that's my best score yet. Game does not save, but so I will admit it does require some memorization because the controls are relative to the car. So if the car is going, this way, left and right kind of match your viewpoint. But when the car is going down, you push the left arrow key, you go this way. You push the right arrow key, you go this way. So if you're drifting, it's kind of like dancing with your fingers. So personally, I don't know if the guy that made this will ever watch this, but if he does, personally I'd like to see controller support, and maybe instead of having the dual direction option, having an actual drift button. So like, for example, if I'm using the old Super Famicom pad, which is what I usually use, instead of, left and a button to start drifting, instead of having to do like this, which you can't do on a controller anyway, but still though, I just wanted to highlight this game because this is a really cool idea. There's nothing else quite like this on MSX or on most 8-bit systems in general, but if you have, I definitely recommend giving it a try, and try to actually properly play the game, because it's quite a bit more fun when you actually... Yeah, we screwed that one up. Come on, use the laser. And... no. Do something too early. There it is. Oops. Actually, this is really fun, so I'm going to do this one more time, because why not? So yeah, cool little game, quite like it, and kind of hope for all those people that have tried it very quickly and said, this game's too hard, it sucks, please give it another try and actually try and learn how it plays, because it's actually quite a bit of fun once you get a hang of it. It does take a little time to get used to the controls, but yeah. So yeah, thanks to the guy that made this, if he ever watches this, and this is currently a 4 meg ROM I'm using, which is traditionally kind of the max. I'm personally do have an ASCII 16X, so I can do up to 8 megs ROMs, and I would love to see an extended version of this if, maybe 2 more tracks. And as I said, I would prefer actual controller support, but still though, cool stuff. Give it a try if you can. All you need is a way to run 4 meg ROMs and an MSX2. Later.